Welcome to Module 5. So here we are going to be using the linear equation for interpolation and extrapolation. If you have some problems with that linear equation, I urge you to go back to Module 4 and 4a and then make sure that you understand the linear equation. So we're going to use linear polynomials, which are linear equations of different types, 3x plus 2 or 3x squared plus 3x plus 2, those kind of things. Those are linear polynomial equations. So we're going to be using those linear equations to construct and find data points. And we're going to do this as an interpolation or extrapolation. Many a time in business, you'll be given some numbers and you might have to extrapolate. For instance, you'll have some charts or you might have some tables and you need to interpolate and extrapolate. For that, we'll be using these linear equations and the way that we are going to solve these problems in this method here. So let's take an example. The example here is that waiting time in a restaurant is that for 4 people the waiting time is 20 minutes. For 2 people the waiting time is 12 minutes. The restaurant owner says that everything is linear here. And what is the time for a group of 6 people? So here we can find out very easily that x1 is going to be equal to 2 and y1 is going to be equal to 12. That means for 2 people, you're going to the waiting time is 12 minutes. That's why the x1 is 2 or y1 is 12. Similarly, x2 is going to be equal to 4 and y2 is going to be equal to 20. Okay. Now, we can see that what is the waiting time for 6 people? So what we are trying to do is to find x3 equal to 6 and what is y3? That's what we are trying to find out. Okay, so how do we do this? The equation is that y minus y1 is going to be equal to a into x minus x1. This is the slope equation. I'm just doing it in a different methodology. So y minus 12 is equal to, I'm substituting y is equal to 12 here, and a is how much? That is the question. So we need to find out what is a, and then we can say that x minus x1 is going to be equal to 2. We need to find a. How do you find a? Slope a is going to be equal to y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. We know all those numbers. See these numbers here? We know all these numbers because these numbers are given here. So let's do that. This is going to be equal to 20 minus 12 divided by 4 minus 2, which is going to be equal to 4. So your a is going to be 4. Okay? If your a is going to be equal to 4, y is going to be equal to 4x minus 8 plus 12. That is, y is equal to 4x plus 4. Now we can find out the same thing here. You have x3. So let's substitute x3 here for 6. Therefore, y is going to be, or y3 is going to be equal to 4 times 6 plus 4, which is going to be 28. So for 6 people, it's going to take 28 minutes. That is the answer. Now, without the charts, we can also do having a set of linear equations as such. We can solve for 2 linear equations and then we can find out the answer also, or solution to that. Let's take this example. We have 2,000 tickets were sold on an exhibition. The cost of a ticket for an adult is $4 and for a child it is $2. The total amount collected was $6,400. Find the number of adult tickets and child tickets sold on Saturday. So here we need to come up with equations. Not one equation, but two equations. Why is that? One equation is for just the adults, the tickets sold. The other one is for the cost of the tickets. So we can do that, and once we have those two, then we can find the X and Y values. So for instance, let X be the number of adult tickets and let Y be the number of child tickets. Okay. We know now 2,000 tickets were sold in an exhibition. So X plus Y must be equal to 2,000 because X is the number of adult tickets, Y is the number of child tickets. That has to be equal to 2,000. So we have one equation. This is my first equation. The second equation is that if I have the number of adults as X and the number of child as Y, the total amount calculated is 6,400. So basically we can say for an adult it is $4. So 4X plus the child ticket is $2. 2Y is going to be equal to 6,400. This is going to be my second equation. How did I get this? One more time. X is the number of tickets. If $4 was for each ticket, this is the total. This 400 is the 4X is going to be the total amount for the adult tickets, and 2Y, because 2 is the $2 and Y is the number of tickets, 2Y becomes the total amount of tickets sold for children. So 4X plus 2Y will be equal to 6,400 because that is the total amount collected on Saturday. So there are many ways of solving this equation. One of the ways would be to multiply one of the equations with a number and then see how to do this. See, what I want to do is, this is 2Y here, this is Y here. If I multiply this whole equation by -2, then this will become minus 2y, and when I add this, the 2y will cancel, the y will get cancelled, so I'll have just a 4x. Then I can solve for x. That is one way of doing it. Okay, so in this case what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply equation 1 by -2. So that becomes minus 2x minus 2y is equal to minus 4,000. Okay, now I'm going to take the equation 2 and bring it over here, which is 4x plus 2y is 6,400. If I add these two equations, so 4x minus 2x will be 2x. Minus 2y plus 2y will be 0, so we don't need to worry about it. 6,400 minus 4,000 will be 2,400. Okay, so basically what is happening here is that x will be equal to 1,200. Now we can take this x and substitute this anywhere, and we should be getting the value of y. Okay, how do we do that? We can substitute the value of x is equal to 1,200 in either one of these two equations. Let's substitute the equation in equation 1. Let's substitute in equation 1. So what happens in equation 1 is that we have, so the equation 1 here is that x plus y is equal to 2,000. So if x is equal to 1,200, what is y? So we can write that as x plus y is equal to 2,000, and then we know the x, we'll put it over here. So 1,200 plus y is equal to 2,000, so y is equal to 800. So we now know that how many people came. How many people came on Saturday? We had 1,200 adults and 800 kids who came. Okay, so this is how we solve for equations.